Okay, good night again, everyone. And tonight we're going to be looking at Unit 4 from our science workbook, where we're looking at rocks, minerals, and soils. So, the page 27, we're going from page 27 to about page 34. So, let's
Yes,
go
sir.
quickly. It says that the ground that we walk on, build on, grow, garden things on, all of that is made up of what?
Rocks and
Rocks.
Made up
soils
of
and
rocks.
minerals.
So what are rocks now? Somebody tell me, based on what we see there, rocks are
Sir,
what?
can I answer?
Rocks are?
Non-living
Non-living materials from the Earth's crust.
All right, so they are solid, non-living materials formed from the Earth's crust.
crust.
All rocks are made from minerals,
Minerals,
pebbles,
pebbles,
soils, and
and
fossils.
Fossils.
Now, what are fossils? Let me ask somebody directly. Uh, Akim,
Yes, sir.
what are fossils?
Their fossils are the remains of dead plants and animals.
Good. So here's an example. If it is that the Bible says there was a flood and the dinosaurs and all of those things were covered, that means that those things that we find, if we find dinosaur bones, then those things we could consider them to be
fossils.
what?
Fossils.
Fossils.
Fossils. Understood?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right. So it says rocks have different what?
Color,
Colors,
shapes,
Colors.
and
shapes, and
textures.
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 A geologist who?
A
A
geologist.
Geologist.
Hold
who
on.
studies the
Talia, who is a geologist now?
Sir, a geologist is someone who studies rocks.
Okay, it says he studies the composition of rocks, minerals, and soils. So
How rocks are formed.
we have an understanding of rocks.
Rocks.
Let's go now to the section that says how rocks are
Rocks are
formed.
formed.
Rocks differ from one another as they are made in different ways. There are
There
three main
are three main
types
types of
of rocks.
rocks.
What are they?
Igneous,
Igneous.
sedimentary, and metamorphic.
All right. So let's look at the igneous rock. When a candle burns, a runny wax is formed that trickles down its side and solidifies. That is, it becomes what? Solid. It becomes
Solid.
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 All right. Igneous rocks are formed in a similar way. Igneous rocks are formed when molten magma cools and hardens inside the earth, or when lava cools on the surface. So you notice that when the liquid rock is inside of the earth, what it is called inside?
Ma
La
magma.
lava.
Magma. It's called magma.
Magma.
But when that liquid rock comes to the surface of the earth, it's no longer called magma. It is called what?
Lava.
Lava. All right. So we need to remember that clearly. Okay. As the lava cools, it hardens. The hardened lava can build a mountain called a what?
Volcano.
Volcano.
All right. So when the volcano erupts, it explodes. Lava, rock, and ash burst out from the volcano. Because of the heat needed to form igneous rocks, they are sometimes called what?
Rocks of fire.
All right. Granite. Granite is the most common form of igneous rocks. Others include basalt, obsidian, and pumice. And those are other forms. So we have basalt, granite, and obsidian. So we're moving now from page 28 and we're going to go to page 27 to page 28. So we move on to another type of rock. I'm gonna ask Sharnice, are you there?
Yes, sir.
I want you to read this section on sedimentary for me. Go.
You never know what you might find in a sedimentary rock. Many rocks of this type are made up of lots of other rocks or even animal remains all cemented together. Sedimentary rocks are built up from particles laid down as layers. They are usually soft and pale in color. Wind and water break rocks into small pieces which settle at the bottom of rivers, seas, or oceans. These layers of sediments harden to form sedimentary rock. Shale, sandstone, conglomerate, chalk,
Conglomerate.
conglomerate,
Mm-hmm.
chalk, limestone, and rock salt are all examples of sedimentary rock.
All right, hold on. Let me talk to the people in my class now. Ready now? Do you remember when we got I think it was TC who brought the water in the bottle? You remember that one?
No, sir.
Yes,
Trevor.
sir.
It was Trevor who brought the water, the dirty water in the bottle.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
All right, good. And when we put that water to settle, we noticed that it settled out into layers. We had the heavier material at the bottom
Bottom.
and the lighter material going up in layers all the way to the top when we had the humus,
Yes, sir.
pieces of twigs and sticks and maybe a piece of
Leaves.
leaf at the top. Over time, it was in the class up to the other day. I don't know if they threw it out when it was thrown out when they were cleaning the other day because they cleaned the classroom the other day. But up to that time, we noticed over time that the soil, the soil that was in there was beginning
Hard.
to what? Stick
Hard.
together and become hard. We could turn the bottle upside down and that soil would no longer sink to the bottom of the bottle. Okay? So this is what happens in oceans and seas over time, where we have layers and layers of what? Sediments being pressed down by water. One of the features of water last night, remember? Water
Yes, sir.
exerts what? Pressure.
Pressure.
So it is squeezing millions and millions of gallons, squeezing on these sediments and causing them to what? Bond or to be cemented together. All right. So that
Yes, sir.
little experiment or observation rather clearly shows what it is like when sedimentary rocks are formed. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if that could happen in our classroom in the space of a few weeks, think about this happening for thousands of years, what it would do to the sediments under that
Will
time.
become a rock.
All right. Let's go back now to the section that says sedimentary rocks. You see that wind and water break rocks into small pieces. We're going to come back to this concept of wind and water breaking rocks. All right. So let's go now to
Metamorphic.
no, not yet. There was one other thing I wanted to say. All right, when I remember, I'll let you know. So let's go to we have shale, sandstone, and limestone. Okay, this is what I wanted to say. Here it is. They said, what's the last example that they give? So we have shale, the sandstone, the conglomerate, the chalk, what is the last one?
Limestone.
No, man.
Rock salt.
Good. You remember the other day we were having this discussion in class about the different salt.
Yes, sir.
That
Yes, sir.
table salt is different from rock salt.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right, excellent. So please bear that in mind that the salt that they use to put on the road in the United States to help to melt snow, it is not table salt they're putting out there. They're putting rock salt. Okay, and the same, it is quite similar to coal and charcoal. In the US, when they talk about coal, right, that they burn for heating purposes in plants that make electricity, they're not talking about charcoal. They're talking about coal in rock form. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
So the rock salt is what you use to make table salt?
No.
No, most I don't think that they use the rock salt. So I guess they could do it, but where we are from, they're using seawater, evaporating that seawater, and then we get the sea salt. All right.
Yes, sir.
They probably could do that. Maybe that's something that they do, but I am more aware of them processing the sea salt.
Sea salt.
All right. So let's
Yes,
move
sir.
on now to
Metamorphic.
metamorphic. All right. And meta has to do with change. All right.
Change.
Metamorphic
Yes,
has
sir.
to do with change. So it says when you bake bread,
Bread.
you mix flour, yeast, water together and bake it in a hot oven. In a similar way, heat and pressure form the overlaying rocks. From the overlaying rocks, rather, change the nature of the rocks below. This process is called metamorphosis, which means
Oh,
change.
Change.
Means change. So metamorphosis means what? Change.
Change.
We're talking about this in class today, that when we have a temporary change of state, somebody's microphone phones are echoing. I can hear it. Yeah. So we were saying that. No man, come on. We're saying that, for example, if it's on speakerphone, we're going to have a feedback loop. And for the persons who are typing stuff and so on while we're doing that, it won't work. Okay? All right. So let's go again. I'm still having that feedback loop. You hear how horrible it sounds?
Yes, sir.
You can't work with that like that.
Sir, it's someone named S.N. Blay.
Hello? Much better. So let's go with this now. So Shanice, I'm
That's
gonna ask you
worse.
to stay still. Okay. Okay. So I was saying to you that we have temporary change. For example, when we have ice can change state to water. That's a temporary change. But when the change is permanent and we cannot get back the original thing, that's a complete change, right? So a permanent change. For example, when we bake the flour and the butter and the eggs and so on, we cannot go back and get flour out. We get something new called the what? The cake. So somebody really typing? So it's similar with the metamorphic rock. So when the rocks are changed, we're not going to be able to just go and get back the original rock from it, because it would have what? It would have changed to something new.
Else.
So it says metamorphic rocks are rocks that have changed from some previously existing rock. A combination of heat, chemical action, and pressure changes igneous and sedimentary rocks into metamorphic rocks. The appearance of the rocks varies depending on the types of rocks from which each is formed. A familiar metamorphic rock is what? Marble, which was once what?
Limestone.
Heat melts the limestone. The melted limestone hardens and takes on a new crystal form called marble. Slate is formed from shale. Sandstone changes into quartzite, and granite changes into gneiss.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Nice.
So here we have quartzite, gneiss, marble, and slate. So we're moving now to the rock cycle. Okay. So you notice that in nature we have several cycles. We have the water cycle. We have the rock cycle. We have nitrogen cycle.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So though in nature we have a lot of cycles, and cycles mean that they go on and on and on.
Because you have a baby.
What is Roger saying?
Sir.
Okay, let's get back. So here we have igneous rocks, and by the process of erosion, they form what? Sediments. Those sediments under pressure form sedimentary rock, and sedimentary rock under heat and pressure can form metamorphic rock.
Metamorphic rocks.
Metamorphic rocks then under heat and pressure can form igneous rocks, and they
Igneous
go
rocks
round and
and around.
sorry. So let's go now. Some common rock types and their uses. So granite, what is granite used for?
Building block.
Hold on, let me call name. Akeem, tell me some of the uses of granite. Not here, Akeem. All right, so let's go to Talia then. Talia, you're next in line.
Yes, sir. Sir, building blocks, road, stone, countertops.
All right, let's see. Rajay,
Yes, sir.
marble. What's marble used for? Some of the uses of marble.
Building blocks and flooring and
What's the word? Okay, we know that it ends with MENT. S.
yes.
That says what? Ments.
Once.
So, and we have MON. Put the U in between. What's the word?
Monument.
Somebody help him to pronounce it properly, please.
Monuments.
Monuments.
Monuments. All right.
Sir, what does that? What is monument, sir?
Somebody Google it now. You tell me. So while they're looking for monuments, let's see. TC.
Yes, sir.
TC, what do we use sandstone to do?
Building industry.
All right. You know, like sometimes the road is damaged or they want to fill it temporarily. Put something there so the cars are able to drive. They will go to the river and they get something they call sandhead. And they take it. So it looks like crushed, hold on a minute. It looks like some crushed stones. And they'll put it on the road surface to fill out the potholes a little so that vehicles are able to pass until they can do something else. All right.
So,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
Sandstone. So we move on to slate. Slate can be used for
Roof tiles.
roof tiles. Limestone used for what?
Building blocks.
Building blocks.
Building
and
blocks
making
and
cement.
cement.
Making cement.
Okay. Oh, here's the answer to our question about the
Rock
salt. Rock salt can be used to make table salt.
sir, that is what Chinese was asking.
Yeah.
Salt.
Right.
They're called
What?
monuments.
Monuments. Read it for me, please.
Well, a state, building, or other structure erected to commemorate a notable person or event.
Okay. So, for example, the statue of Usain Bolt in what's the name of this place now? There's a special name for it. This park at the National Stadium. I don't remember what the name is right now. So that would be a monument, and it is used to remember the person. All right.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Sir.
They're like headstones on a person's grave.
Yes, kind of.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Somebody has that vibrating thing on the phone, so every time they tap it, it's in my ear.
Randy.
Sir, I'm looking for the name of the park.
Sir, it is in Independence Park.
Very good. So it's the Independence Park. Please take that person who is searching now. You can't search any at all because that sound, for all of us who are wearing headphones, that sound is going to be in our ear. We can't have that. That's not nice to us.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's move on now. So we have rocks. we clarified, well, as we said, we clarified the issue of a cycle. We looked at some of the common uses of some of the types of rocks. So we're moving on now to minerals.
Minerals. Minerals are
So let's see, who can I ask? Where's Shade? Shade, you there?
Yes, sir.
Read for me minerals.
Minerals are non-living solid matter from the earth that may have specific shape. Gold and diamond are examples of
Minerals have different
minerals have
physical
different
properties.
physical properties.
They
They
can
can be
be
any color or
either
texture,
shiny or dull and
shiny or dull,
soft.
soft or hard.
All right. Hold a second. Please allow Shade to read by himself. There are other persons who are reading along. Let's hear Shade alone. Continue, sir. So you're going
Color
to
is
pick up
the
from color.
most obvious physical property of minerals.
Luster.
Luster is the appearance of the surface in reflected light. Hardness is the resistance a mineral offers to scratching. Transparency is the degree to which minerals will transmit light. A mineral is given a number from 1 to 10 for its hardness. Talc is the softest mineral, hardness of 1. It is pumped up to make talc.
And we know that talcum powder is what we call baby powder, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's soft. Let's go over to page 30 now. And we're looking now at diamonds. Continue, Shade.
Diamonds are the hardest mineral on earth. They are used on cutting edges of some sorts of jewelry. Some minerals are valuable. For example, gold, diamond, and silver. So,
Quartz.
quartz is a transparent mineral used in making sandpaper and glass.
All right, so here they have examples. We have the diamond, we have talc, we have gold, we have quartz. Now it says gypsum
And
and
box
bauxite is
are
of minerals that are found in Jamaica.
Jamaica.
All right, so
Jamaica.
we move now to soils.
Soils.
TC,
Yes,
I
sir.
want you to read this first section for me on soils.
Sir, the first bullet point.
First and second.
Soil is a natural resource. When a rock breaks apart, its minerals become part of the soil. Soil is not only made of rocks, it also has air, water, and matter.
Say that
Many dif-
again. Say that again.
it,
What are the things?
it also has air, water, and matter.
All right.
Many different types of soils exist. They can vary from one place to another, depending mainly on the underlying rock. Soil can have different colors. When plants and animals die, they decay or rot. The decayed matter is called humus, which becomes part of the soil. Humus gives soil a dark color and also provides nutrients,
So
which
decayed
is
matter also provides the soil with what? Nutrients.
nutrients, which is the substance that plants and animals need to live and grow.
All right. So humus is the part of the soil that gives the plants a lot of its nutrients. Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. And when we add humus, it usually makes it what? It usually gives it a what? dark
Dark color.
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 I don't know if anybody has ever had their yard cut. And you see the grass that you have, they take the grass and they put it in a corner of the yard, maybe at the back. Your mother or your auntie or whoever is there says that they're going to make compost with it. And they leave it there. And when you lift up the grass and look, you notice that the grass now changes and it looks brown and starts to look like dirt. Anybody has ever noticed that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So over time, it is what? Breaking down. Right? So that
Yes, sir.
soil, that grass is breaking down and becoming compost. Compost, a form of humus which can be added to the soil for extra nutrients. So we're going to go now to types of soils. There are 3 main types of soils. What are they?
Clay,
Clay,
sand,
sand, and
Clay,
loam.
sand, and loam.
Loam.
Loam. The type of soil and the substance it contains are very important to agriculture and therefore to our lives. You notice that we are linked, right? So we're linked. We're linked to the soil. Now, let's go back to Miss Shernice. What is clay, Shernice?
And does not allow water to drain. It is wet, soil is smooth. It contains nutrients which allow plants to grow well.
All right. So clay does not drain easily. So that means it can become waterlogged easily. All right.
Yes,
Easily
sir.
waterlogged. Sticky and smooth. Clay is also used for what? We can use it
Making
to
pottery.
or making ceramics. Okay. So a lot of our cups and plates and so on, they're actually clay plates, right? And they put them in a kiln, burn them or bake them, and then glaze them so that they have that nice pretty finish on it, right? And
Yes, sir.
we have those, and that would be called ceramic. All right, so let's see. Rajay, could you talk to us now about sandy soil?
Yes, sir.
Read, sir, read. Okay, he's not with us.
So,
Let's go to Talia. Talia, could you read for us sandy soil?
Sandy soil is loose and easy to dig. Plants do not grow well in sandy soil because it has fewer nutrients. It is light and water drains through it easily.
Hold on. So if they show you a diagram on the test and they show you 3 groups of soil and you notice they pour 1 cup into this container with soil, 1 cup into the other container of soil, 1 cup into the last container of soil, and you notice that almost 1 cup of water is collected in a container underneath soil type 1. What is that soil type likely to be?
Sandy soil.
Which one? Sandy soil. Because sandy soil drains water easily. It does not hold on to water as much. All right, good. Is Darian here?
No, sir.
Don't see him at all.
I read that. Sir, I'm back.
Who is this saying they're back?
Reggie.
Okay, so go with loam, sir.
Loam or garden soil is a mixture of clay, sand, and humus. Many plants grow well in this soil. It holds water and has many nutrients for plants.
Okay, excellent, sir. Thank you. What do they say about loam or garden soil? It is the what?
Mixture of clay, sand, and humus.
Good. So it has all the properties that we want for growing things. That's why it's considered to be the what? The best soil for what? Growing plants. Okay, so look at it. It can hold water, but does not become waterlogged because it has sand. right? And it has
Yes, sir.
humus. Okay, so it if you see it on an exam, you know that it's the best what? Best soil for growing plants. Now we go over to weathering,
Weather.
erosion, and soil conservation. All right, so let's hear from Akeem. Akeem, could you read that first bullet point for me on page 31?
When rocks, when rocks wear down or break apart into smaller pieces by contact and the elements of weather such as wind, water, and temperature, the process is known as weathering.
Yes, continue.
Plants and gases in the air can also cause rocks to weather. Weathering change igneous and other rocks into sediment.
All right, thank
Erosion
you. Thank you. So we have here elements such as what? Second line. Wind, water, and temperature.
Temperature.
You remember when I had said that we're going to come back to a concept later when we were looking at sedimentary rocks. If we turn back to page 28, look for the second bullet point and then the third line for the second bullet point. What does that say? Somebody.
So for sedimentary,
Yes.
Sedimentary
Third. No. Third line. So that is line 1, then line 2, then line 3. The third line. What does it say? Wind and
and water
water.
breaks into small pieces which settle at the bottom of
Of
rivers,
rivers.
seas,
So it
and
breaks
oceans.
rocks. So what word can we use here to describe this process of breaking the rocks into small pieces by wind and water? What can we then use?
Weathering.
Weathering. All right. So let's see. TC, erosion. What is erosion, sir?
Erosion is the removal of topsoil
Hold
and rock.
on. It is not the removal of
Topsoil.
it's not just the removal of anything. It is especially the removal of what? Topsoil. Okay. Go ahead.
Of topsoil and rocks by wind or water. Soil erosion can be caused by number 1, deforestation, 2, poor farming, 3, overgazing.
No, overgrazing. Not
Overgrazing.
gaze. Good. All right. So deforestation. Right. So usually the word de, when used as the prefix, gives us the opposite. Okay. For example, somebody gets a merit. When they get a demerit, that's the opposite. All right. So if we have the word deforestation, it would be the what? Opposite of what? Forestation. Okay. All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
that is where we remove trees from the environment in large numbers, right? With little thought of how these trees are going to be replaced over time. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Poor farming practices. Sometimes we plant the same crop over and over and over at the same spot, and it pulls a certain type of nutrients, and then that becomes depleted from the soil, and the soil becomes exhausted. Overgrazing. Anybody wants to tell me what that means?
Overgaze.
Sir, when you have too many animals.
Too many animals on one plot of land to the point where they eat the available grass or whatever it is they're taking from the plot of land, to the point where it is the pasture is unable to support the numbers that are there.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
And we did this in lessons already. So let's now move from these situations to talk about soil conservation.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Someone read for me.
Soil conservation. Because soil is so important to our lives, You think people would take care of it, but they have not always. The proper care of soil is called soil conservation. Sometimes people have made mistakes that cause the soil to erode.
These mistakes can be avoided by using the following methods.
Rotating crops, that is planting a different crop each year. Terracing, the leveling of hilly areas so that a series of steps can be formed on a slope to erosion. Planting crops for the and sometimes plowing. Not allowing animals to graze one area until it is barren before they are moved to another area. This is called overgrazing. Planting trees where the soil is eroded.
All right. Thank you very much. So we have done that unit now, and we should be able to answer all the questions there. All
I
right.
want to see number one.
So let's go one at a time. Give a definition of rocks.
Rocks are non-living materials.
Solid, non-living materials. Yes, that can be found in the Earth's crust. All right. What are the components of rocks?
Minerals, pebbles,
I'm not hearing you guys clearly.
minerals,
Minerals,
pebbles.
pebbles, soils, and fossils.
So minerals, pebbles, soils, and fossils.
Fossils.
Number 3. So if you have answered already, don't answer now. How is each of the 3 classes of rocks formed? So Shade, you give me one.
Sedimentary rocks.
How are sedimentary rocks formed?
How?
Yes, how? By what? Yes. But I would want to hear by layering underwater over time being exposed to pressure that causes them to fuse, the sediments to fuse. So anytime you hear water associated with the formation of a rock, we're going to think what type of rock?
Sediment.
Sedimentary. All right. Let's talk about metamorphic shade. What about metamorphic? What's happening there? Yes, go ahead. Not hearing you. Go ahead, sir. For metamorphic rocks, what's happening, guys?
Metamorphic rocks are rocks that change
Say that metamorphic rocks are rocks that have been changed from some previously existing rocks.
What causes the rocks to change? What are the things that help to cause this change?
Heat, chemical, and
There
action.
So heat, pressure, and chemical action. And finally, igneous rocks are formed from what? Mr. Allen? Igneous rocks, we can call them rocks of what?
Fire.
Rocks of fire. Let's look now at number 4. Examples of each type. Igneous. Give me examples of igneous.
basalt, obsidian,
Granite, basalt, obsidian. Those could work. Metamorphic.
Slate and marble.
Okay. So I have quartz, I have marble. All right. What about sedimentary?
Sandstone and limestone.
Sandstone, limestone, shale could also work there. Let's go over now. Next page, page 32. What is meant by the rock cycle?
when the rocks are
Go ahead, Talia. Let me hear what you have to say. Talia, go ahead with number 5. Let me hear what you have to say.
What is meant by the rock cycle?
Anybody wants to help with that one? Somebody's typing. Someone is typing.
Sir, I wrote it down. I'm going to look for it.
All right. I'll give the answer. Anybody else wants to try?
Yes, sir.
Sure,
Sir.
go ahead. Go
Yes,
ahead,
sir.
Travis.
When the rocks are changed from one form to another.
So the cycle by which rocks are changed from one form to
To
another.
Another.
Okay. So what are minerals now?
Are non-living solid material.
Okay.
From the that
All right. Very good. List the three properties. List three of the properties of minerals.
Color,
Sir,
hardness, less.
go
Color,
Hardness,
hardness,
Luster,
luster.
hardness and
All right.
transparency.
Transparency. All right. Number 8A. Name two minerals found in Jamaica.
Bauxite,
limestone,
Bauxite and
limes,
Limestone and bauxite. State the use of each. Limestone is used in the making of what?
cement, and
Cement. And bauxite is used in the making of what?
aluminium.
Alumina that then goes on to be processed to make aluminium.
Yes, sir.
You see, if I identify that person with the phone, I'm going to eject that person and ask the person not to return. Someone has their phone on vibrate, so whenever the message is coming, it vibrates. What that does, it gives a buzz. And for those persons who are here wearing the headphone, it's in our ear. So I'm asking you to be kind enough to take it off that particular feature if you're going to be a part of the group.
Yes, sir. I take it off.
All right, let's go.
Sir, gypsum is used to make
Go with that again, Charnice. Gypsum is used for
plaster of
plaster of Paris. I don't know what this plaster of Paris is. You want to tell me what it is?
It's like a cast that Karim has on his foot.
Good. So she has a classmate now who has a broken leg. So to get that leg set in a certain position to keep it still so that the bones will heal properly, they put a cast on it. So the plaster of Paris that they use is one of the components in it is gypsum. One of the primary components would be gypsum. Okay. So when it they're going to use water and they're going to mold it around the leg, and when it dries it becomes hard. So if you were to ask him to touch the cast, when you knock on it, it sounds, you know, tough like stone. All right. All right, so let's go. What number 9? We're at 9 now. What are the components of soil?
Air, water, and matter.
Air. No, not clay. Let's go again. Components of soil, not types of soil. Components. Air, water, and matter. Number 10A. List the different kinds of soil.
Clay, sandy, loam.
Clay, sand, and loam. How do they differ? Hold on.
Clay is
Rajay, tell me about clay.
Clay is a heavy. Sir, am I right so far?
Can I help you?
Sir, I can help him.
Sir, clay is heavy and does not allow water to dry through it easily.
Okay, so drain. So it does not allow water to drain easily. All right, so TC, tell us about sand.
Sand allows water to drain through easily.
Okay. All right, fair enough. And somebody else tell us about loam.
Loam.
So
Mixture of clay.
garden soil is
Mixture of clay, sand, and humus.
All right. And what do we know about loam?
It's a garden soil.
It's yes, it's
It's a
garden soil.
garden soil.
It's good
Sir,
to
It's
it's
mixed
hold
with
water.
clay.
Yes, we know that
So
it's
it
mixed
is
with
the
clay.
best. It's
That's
the
what I'm
best.
looking for. Okay, go ahead, TC. Talk for us.
It is the best soil for planting
planting.
crops.
Excellent. Okay, so let's go through quickly. Let's see the time. Oh wow,
Oh my
we're running
God.
out of time. So it says
Yes, sir.
state 3 different practices that farmers can use to prevent soil erosion.
Sir, by
Trees.
Terracing.
I have crop rotation. Crop
Planting.
rotation. So we switch up the crops that we plant each year. Terracing.
Terracing.
Um and
Overgrazing.
not allowing overgrazing practices, right? All right.
Hello.
Next one, number 12. Why are minerals in the soil so important to produce healthy crops?
To give the crops nutrients that they need.
Okay. So if we don't have those minerals in the soil, then the soil will have low levels of fertility, which lead to lower crop yields. All right.
Yes, sir.
So 13, if Farmer Jones wants to control soil erosion on a hill, explain the farming method he would use.
Planting trees on slopes where the soil is
So he
eroded.
could plant trees on the hillside. He could also engage in terracing, where he puts what steps into the hillside that slow down the flow of water, right? So we have less erosion. They have things they call like pineapple barriers. Like on hillsides, they will plant pineapples, and they can also plant grass on the hillside, because grass, what type of roots grass have?
Fibrous. So
So it spreads out and holds the
holds the soil.
All right. Number 14. What is the main difference between weathering and erosion?
Erosion.
Sir, where
Go ahead. Go ahead, Talia. Hold on.
Sir,
Hold on, Shade. Talia, go ahead.
sir, weathering is when the rocks were down and break apart into smaller pieces, and erosion is removal of topsoil.
All right. Fair enough. What are the causes of weathering, Shade?
What is it, sir?
The cause, we're looking at number 15. What causes the weathering of rocks?
Wind. Wind.
Give me 2 more. So wind is okay. We accept that one. We need 2 more.
Atmosphere of
Sir, can I help him, sir?
Sure, go ahead.
Sir, can I help him?
Go ahead.
Sir, wind, water, and temperature.
Wind, water, and temperature. All of those things can cause weathering. All right, so let's go over quickly and close out. So we're just going to give the answers for these questions from 16 onward. So number 16, the answer?
Magma.
Magma. Number 17.
Rock cycle.
Number 18.
Hardness, color, and luster.
I have luster, color, and hardness. Number 19. Weathering. 20. Sandy soil. 21.
Clay,
Humus.
Okay. So I have it in a different order, but the elements are the same. I have sand, clay, and humus. Number 22. Limestone changes into what? Into marble. Number 23. Jewelry. For example, gold and diamonds. Number 24. 24. Geologist. 25. cutting
Cutting
down
down.
of trees.
trees.
So if we cut down trees, we are going to increase the likelihood of erosion. Number 26.
Lava.
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 Number 27.
Metamorphic.
Number 28.
Roots.
Number
Roots.
29. 29.
Di-
Diamond.
No man, quartz.
Quartz.
Quartz. All right, so we turn over now and we have 3 more to go. Number 30.
Loam.
Loon.
30, 31.
Through volcanic action.
Through volcanic action. And 32.
Color.
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 All right, so the other sections you can do on your own.
Yes, sir.
All right, so far this week, let's look back at what we have done so far. We started off by looking at skin. We looked at the skin. We looked at the sense of taste and smell. We looked at simple and complex machines, right? We looked at air and water.
Yes, sir.
And we have now looked at rocks, minerals, and soils. Okay? So we have made some progress here. I will not have a meeting with you on Friday.
Tomorrow.
Right? I will have a meeting tomorrow. And the next time we meet, we should be going through weather
Sir, why
and
not
climate.
tomorrow?
No, I don't have meetings on those nights, all right?
Okay,
So
sir.
the next time we meet, I will go through weather and climate. So have those topics ready. All right,
Yes,
good
sir.
night, guys. I'm gonna ask that when we are done, that you get ready for tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow you have your different pieces to prepare for the presentation.
Regular school day.
And it's a regular school day, so we're asking you to make sure you take the things and get yourself ready.
sir.
Have for yourselves
yes,
a good
sir.
night. Thank you for joining. Thank you for those persons who were able to remember the rules and keep the rules tonight. Have for
Yes, sir.
yourselves a productive night. See you next time.